feel like fall here in Chicago, but that's where we are. So welcome back to the Furiously Knit podcast. My name is Wendy. I am a knitter and a public preschool teacher living in Chicago with my twin daughters and our cats. Here's one now. Here's Una. Hi. Una tends to come out when I'm filming. I don't know how she knows. I don't know why. She's kind of a recluse otherwise. So, it's been a while since I filmed. I think my last podcast went up in May. So it's been an entire summer. An entire long, full summer. Long story short is in May, right after I filmed that last podcast, our 10-month-old kitten, Fig, got sick with FIP very suddenly and he died. And that losing him sent me into a spiral of depression and grief. He was a very special cat for myself and both of my daughters. And it was brutal. It was so sudden. It happened, like, we took him to the vet thinking that he was, I don't know, had like a respiratory thing, and we did not come home with him. So I think the speed of it, and just like the trauma was, we've lost pets before, but there was something just devastating about this one. So I was not in a good place for a month or so. And then once I did feel a little bit better, I was not ready to, sorry, we've got someone making biscuits on the knits over here. Come on, babies. Go lay down. So I just wasn't in a place to come on and like even mention it. And then I didn't want to not mention it. So I just had to wait. And a couple months after that happened, we took in a foster family of cats. So we had a mama and her 3 babies, and that was a lot. It's been wonderful, but it was a lot. So there was that. And then I was also just focused on trying to have a busy, fun, relaxing, social summer. And I did. I feel like I accomplished that. So we got off to a rough start, but it got better. And I'll talk more about like the details of my summer and stuff that I was getting up to at the end of the video. So if you're interested in life updates, you can stick around to the end. I did a lot of knitting. So I have a lot to show you. So I think I'm just gonna jump right into it. This is not even everything. Like, I had a couple of fails that I'm gonna save for another video. I just don't, there's so much that I'm gonna focus on like the successes for this video. So first one I want to show you is what I'm wearing. This is the square tee by knitrohi. This is knit in Sandnes Garn Line. I don't remember the color, but it's like just a beige. I think this is the same color that I knit my June top last summer in. So it's just a simple tee, I-cord edging all over, which I love, although I do think that I did this. Sorry, I have a mirror set up behind my iPad, so like I can make sure that I'm showing you what I want to show you. But I think that I did this I-cord too loose because it kind of flares a bit. So I am, and it does, like when I wash it, it blocks out. but then it, you know, it loosens up as I wear it. And it's actually, I think it's fine. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I was considering ripping it out and then redoing it and trying to like tighten it up a bit, but I don't actually think it bothers me enough to do that. So absolutely love this pattern. Absolutely love the finished object. I think this is maybe my most worn summer top. Summer knits are tricky for me in Chicago because it gets pretty, generally it's pretty humid here. It does get hot, and I just feel like I'm not sure yet if summer knits are very practical. This one, yes, if it's in the upper 70s to around 80 degrees, I can wear it and be comfortable, but if it's humid, I can't do it. So it's actually, I don't know, what, 82 degrees here today. Definitely still feels like summer. This is definitely a little bit too warm for me right now, but I did want to wear it and show you guys. I will also put in a photo of me from the summer, just so that you can see like what I styled it with, but it basically goes with everything. So these are just high-waisted mom jeans, I guess. Perfect length. It's slightly cropped. I did add length to it because I have a long torso. I'm 5'8" and I have a long torso. So I do generally add length, but it's still cropped. It's cropped just enough. It's long enough that I could tuck it. I like to wear it with high-waisted shorts and skirts. It's super versatile. It fits. It's sleek enough and like fitted enough to wear underneath. If it got chilly, I could throw another sweater or a jacket over top of it. Pretty ideal. Pretty ideal. I got Una over here turning somersaults. You are ridiculous. Do you want to be a YouTube star? So yeah, that's my square tee. Completely in love with it. Would absolutely knit another one in a different color. I do wear a lot of black, so I would consider, this is definitely a summer pattern that I would consider knitting again. It's good for transition, like spring and fall. I feel like it's going to be perfect. If fall ever gets here, it will be wonderful. So that is that. Another one. Okay, another summer knit that I actually really love. I test knit the Queen's Cami by Tori Yu. This was knit up in, oh my god, what's the name? Mojave? Kelbourne Woolens Mojave. Can you tell it was a while ago? This is the electric blue color, which I know is having a moment, and I mean, you'll see when I get to acquisitions, like, totally infatuated with this color. This tank pattern is amazing. It's like, I've test knit a few of Tori's patterns, and I love them all. This is no exception. It's light, it's breezy. I will put a picture in, so just so you can see how it fits. But again, this is one of those that you can really wear with anything. Like, you can dress it up. You could dress it down. You could put a chunky gold chain on and, you know, go out on a date or go out to dinner with your friends. You can wear it with shorts and be super casual. You could wear it to the beach. Again, this is one that I would knit again. I would probably go up a size. I think this is the second size. I would probably go up a size just because I like a little more space under the arms than this one gave me, but it's still totally comfortable. It's fine. I wore it. I loved it. I did not do the folded hem because I like the way that it looks. Oh, we've got a little dangly bit. I like how it looks rolled. I don't even know if you guys can tell, but it rolls a bit, but it rolls just up to there's a line of purl bumps where you would have, you know, done the fold to knit it down. It curls right up to those purl bumps, and it looks intentional. And I was showing my friend as I was in the middle of knitting. Oh my gosh, Una, stop being a menace. I was showing my friend in the middle of knitting this, and she was like, I really like it just like unfinished like that. And I looked at it and I was like, actually I do too. So I left it for a while thinking maybe I'll come back to it and, you know, sew it down, but I never did. And I think it's gonna stay that way. So maybe with my next one, I might actually do it properly. One of the yarns recommended in the pattern is Pearl Soho's Linen Quill. And I do have a couple of skeins of linen quill in my stash. So I'm thinking that might be my next choice for a Queen's Cami. I think it would definitely give it a little, maybe a little less drape, but definitely more warmth. So for wearing underneath a cardigan or a jacket in the winter time, fall and winter, I think that the Pearl Soho, the linen quill, would be a nice option. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that one. Square tee, Queen's Cami. I also knit. So I participated in the Ritual Dyes Tarot Club. So you get a skein of yarn every month based on a tarot card, which I love because I read tarot. I practice tarot. I read professionally for a few years, and it was a pretty meaningful part of my life for a while. I don't use it as much as I did in the past, but I still will occasionally pull a card for myself. My girls like to pull cards with me too, just to sort of like see what the energy of the day is going to be. And the August colorway for the Tarot Club was the Lovers. Shake this out a bit. So I had one skein of this silk mohair in this amazing orange, lilac, green colorway. And I've kind of shied away from the Ranunculus pattern, and I'm not sure. You know what? I think I just don't really like lace that much. I think I'm just not into lace yokes, or maybe lace period. But it is more of like a textury sort of deal than a lacy sort of deal. Even with that I mean, with that said, I did not follow the pattern, which you can, I mean, it's very scrunchy because I actually haven't blocked it yet, but, so I did the increases that needed to be done, but I didn't do them in the way that the pattern called for, which would have given it more of like that textured look. I'm happy with it. It's definitely like, it looks much better on my body. It just looks kind of like a crumbly mess if I'm holding it up like this, but when it's worn, it looks great. My biggest problem with it is that I knit these, obviously I did the shortest sleeve version, but because I have broad shoulders, like this length of sleeve on me, I love, but these only come out to about here. And to my eyes, it just makes my shoulders look even like broader. So I do not love the length of the sleeves. Also, I love how the color worked up at the top. It's top down. I love how the colorway knit up at the top, but then as we got down closer to the bottom, it started pooling, and I only had one skein, and I didn't think to wind it into two separate skeins, which, lesson learned, because I have several other skeins of yarn from the Tarot Club that I would love to use. So I need to remember to, when I wind them up, to wind them into separate balls so that I can hopefully do a little more yarn management. But overall, I really like it. I like wearing it with my faded, not black jeans, but like faded black, like the ones I'm wearing today. I think these colors look really good with that color. And now I want to knit another ranunculus, probably in a fingering weight. I have so many skeins of beautiful hand-dyed sock yarn, fingering weight yarn. I have lots of fingering weight singles, but like, ugh, these colors make me really, really happy. And they actually align really well with, I don't know what deck, it was probably the traditional Rider-Waite tarot deck that Ritual Dyes was using as their color inspiration, but rats, I meant to bring it. Maybe I'll pop a picture. Yeah, I'll pop a picture here of the Lover's card from my most used personal deck, which is the Wild Unknown deck. But I feel like the colors of that card, the Lover's card from the Wild Unknown, align really well with this, so that also made me happy. I have 6 or 7 other single skeins of silk mohair from this tarot club. So 6 or 7 more single skeins, all in different colors. I'm going to show you one of them when I talk about my acquisitions, because I'm obsessed with it, but I'm not sure. I'm thinking maybe a cloud bow. I don't know. If you have ideas for single skeins of mohair, 6 or 7 skeins, all in different colors, all variegated. If you have any ideas for me, let me know. I want to use them. I'm just not sure how to use them. Okay. That was the ranunculus. Ooh, next. So I felt a little bit silly in, I think this was the end of June. I went out for pizza. It was a very gloomy, dark, drizzly, chilly summer evening. And I went out for pizza, and I wore my Cardigan, which is another Tori pattern. It's probably my most worn knit item. So I'm wearing my Cardigan, which I knit up in Highland wool held with, was it a Suri alpaca? It was like a Suri alpaca. And I'm sitting there, and I was just like so cozy, and I was sitting, it was like sort of an enclosed patio situation at this pizza place, and I was sitting there in my cardigan, and I was thinking, I really want to knit a cardigan that is just like sort of floaty and like sort of definitely a mohair or a Suri alpaca, but I wanted it, I was like, I want it to be like floaty and ethereal feeling. And so I looked around and I decided to knit the Sunday Cardigan Mohair edition by Petite Knit. Oh man, you guys are not going to be able to see. So this is my Sunday Cardigan Mohair edition. I knit this in the most gorgeous Suri alpaca by Grenouille Yarn Company. The colorway is Nacht Musick. Please forgive me. But it's a Suri alpaca that I think I ordered it maybe 6 months ago. I didn't know what to do with it. It was just waiting for the perfect project, and this was the perfect project. So I held one strand of the Suri alpaca, and I held it with a strand of Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair in, I think it was deep petroleum blue. And so it is this like, it's similar to the color of my walls back there, but it's this deep, beautiful blue. And maybe I will put it on. Let's put it on. The color obviously is amazing, but look, it's exactly what I wanted. It's floaty. It's a little sheer because it's a loose gauge. I have not been able to wear it yet because summer is not over. It knit up super quickly, so we had some very instant gratification sensations with this one. I love it so much. I love it so much. The colorway of the Grenouille Suri alpaca just knit up so gorgeously. I feel like it really has a lot of depth to this color combination. I feel like I nailed it. Super, super, super happy. Very excited to wear it. Not today though, not today. So yeah, I love petite knit patterns. You probably do too. I would love to knit, so the pattern calls for 3 strands of silk mohair held together. Because I did the Suri alpaca and it's a little bit thicker, I just held that with one strand of mohair. But I love the idea of 3 strands of mohair. How luxurious would that be? So, this one, totally in love with. Very excited to wear it. I feel like this is kind of the ultimate teacher cardigan. It's cute. It's cutesy, but it's not too cutesy, I guess is what I would say. Anything else about that? I don't think so. I also decided to cast on a sock because eventually it will be sock weather. So, whoop. It's just a basic 3x1 ribbed sock. I did the Norwegian cast on, whatever the stretchy cast on is. I think it's the Norwegian, I don't know. You guys might know what I'm talking about. I will look it up and put it down below. I did my typical heel flap and gusset. We're getting close. I just took it off the circular and put it on the DP ends. We're going to start decreasing for the toe. This yarn is gorgeous. This is Northwoods Fibers sock yarn. The colorway is Cheers to a New Year. And I bought this a year ago spring break. So coming up on a year and a half ago, I think. I bought it at a yarn store in Milwaukee on spring break. It was kind of an impulse purchase, but you know what these colors remind me of? They remind me of birch trees. They remind me of birch trees, and obviously I love birch trees. I love the way that the colors are knitting up. I feel like it's very evenly distributed, this color. No issues with pooling or weird striping or anything like that, so we love that. It's like cushy, plushy, gushy, very cushy yarn, bouncy. I'm knitting these on US size 1, and I think these are going to be I think these are going to be really comfortable. I think they're going to be really soft and really warm, and I love ribbed socks. I think I based this on the Wise Hilda's basic ribbed sock pattern, which I think is a free pattern on Ravelry. When I got back into knitting a couple of years back, the first socks I knit were using this pattern, this basic ribbed pattern. And ever since then, I've done lots of vanilla socks, just like the Crazy Sock Ladies vanilla sock pattern. So it was really nice to get back to a ribbed sock, which I feel like they just fit so well, you know? This is the yarn. This is the Northwoods Fiber Cheers to the New Year. But I like this yarn so much. It is a superwash sock yarn, but I like it so much that I went on their website because I will definitely be buying more of this yarn for socks. it's so soft. And it doesn't feel like, sometimes superwash sock yarn is like, it doesn't feel like wool, it feels like something, you know, plasticky. This doesn't have that feeling at all, and I love it. I don't have any of that like almost squeaky sort of feeling as you're knitting it up. It just feels squishy and soft and wonderful. So I do recommend that yarn. I will be buying more. And hopefully I will not fall into second sock syndrome with this one. I did finish my rainbow socks. I finished a sock over the summer that I don't have with me, so I will show it to you next time. It was kind of a fail, but it was just because of the way that the yarn was dyed. It was a Malabrigo sock yarn. And so one of the socks has very saturated colors and the other sock does not. You guys will see it next time. The socks will be perfectly functionable inside a boot where you can't really see the difference in colors. Okay. I think I have one more finished object to show you. So I knit my first Lento last winter. Totally in love with it. And I knew that I wanted to knit. Wait a minute. I have a whole other finished object. Okay, let's talk about this one first, and then I'll go grab it. So, this is my Lento number 2. My Lento version 2. And if you've knit the pattern, you know that it's quick, it's pretty loose gauge, pretty big needles. It calls for a strand of fingering held with a silk mohair, I believe. I knit mine up in Cascade 220 fingering, which is one of my favorite yarns. Just in, I'll put the color name or number underneath. But it was just like a basic off-white ivory cream color. But I held it with, and I don't have the rest of the ball, but I held it with Hedgehog Fibres silk mohair. The colorway is Daydream. So it is a like an off-white base with speckles of hot pink, like fluorescent pink, fluorescent yellow, and gray. So it looks like a sweater that maybe went through the washing machine with a bunch of highlighters. I am obsessed. I cannot believe how beautiful this yarn is. I love the, the neon trend that's been happening last year and this year. I love the neon trend. Not ready to go full neon, so this was I feel like this is a nice step in that direction. I finished it the other night. I think I knit a small. I don't know. I always have to either go up or down a needle. Like I never hit gauge, and so I'm always like fussing with needle sizes. And so sometimes I'll do a medium and sometimes I'll do a small according to how I'm changing the needle size and the gauge in the yarn. I think this is a small, but it did come out bigger than my first Lento. My first Lento is more fitted. This one is more relaxed, which is fine. I'm not going to put it on and try it on. It's way too hot for that. But I like the more relaxed look. Again, I think this is maybe a perfect preschool teacher sweater. It feels playful. It feels a little whimsical. It is so soft. I still cannot get over how much I love Cascade 220. I've knit the fingering weight and the sport weight and also the worsted weight. So Cascade 220, definitely a favorite. The Lento pattern, also a favorite. Again, large needles. I knit mine on a US 9. I think it calls for a US 10, the pattern. So quick, so easy, so satisfying, and just like a really great, oh, look, I don't know if you guys can see. There's even a little orange in the mohair. I don't know if you can see it here. It's amazing. I really loved it. It was my first time working with Hedgehog Fibres yarn, and I really loved it. Definitely going to be doing that again. All right, I'm going to pause here for a second, and I'm going to go grab my other finished object. Okay, I'm back, and I have my Clove sweater. This is my second Clove. This is a drop shoulder pullover with twisted rib hems and collar. I was knitting this as part of, oh, we have a friend. Hi. This is one of the foster kittens that I mentioned earlier. This is Jupiter. Hi, Juju. Wow, what a pretty girl. Spoiler alert, she's a foster fail. I am the world's biggest foster fail. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. So I knit this Clove as part of the Dream knit along that Inga of Knitting Traditions was hosting this year, because this was my dream knit, because I knit my first Clove last year. Absolutely loved the pattern. I really like a drop shoulder on my body shape. I don't know if it's because of the broad shoulders. I don't know if it's because of the freakishly long arms. I'm not sure what it is about my body type, but I feel like a drop shoulder is unbelievably flattering on me. So I knew that I wanted to knit another Clove, and I had knit up a swatch of Grenouille Yarn Company's sock yarn in, oh, colorway, what's the colorway? Wax and Wane. So I knit up a swatch of Wax and Wane held double. So fingering weight held double. And loved the way, I don't know if the camera will pick it up or if it'll just look like dark speckles, but they're actually red, orange, blue, purple, gray, almost like a rainbowy, speckly sort of yarn. So based on that swatch, I knew that I wanted to knit another clove with that yarn held double. So I did, and it's a dream. This is another one that I have not worn. No, I did wear it once. I wore it on a date a couple weeks ago. We had a week of almost chilly, no, legitimately chilly evenings. And I was on a date one night and we were sitting outside. And so I wore this on the date. But that's the only time I've worn it because it warmed back up. So I don't know when I'm going to get to wear this one again, but knowing that it's waiting for me makes me very happy. My first clove was pretty cropped. This one is also cropped, but I did add a little bit of length to it. Just to help with the long torso. But it's definitely heavy. I feel like DK weight sweaters are heavy. So this is my dream clove. This is my dream knit. It turned out as beautifully as I hoped it would, and I am very, very, very happy with it. Now that I've knit a second clove and a second lento, I've realized that I really enjoy re-knitting patterns. So that'll be, actually, nope, we're going to stop that right there because I am going to film a fall knitting plans video, maybe today. I might have, my daughters are with their dad today, and I don't have any plans, so maybe today's the day when, well, we'll see. We'll see how my voice holds up. But I could potentially film a fall knitting plans video right after this one. Okay. That's it for finished objects. I am just gonna, oh no, yes it is. That's it. That's it for now. I'm gonna show, wait a minute. I showed you guys a sock. I am a whole mess today. I showed you guys that sock. That was not a finished object, obviously a work in progress. Because I'm sitting here thinking, I only have one work in progress? Okay. The one work in progress that I have to show you now is going to be a little tricky to show you, but it's on a small needle. You might remember that I knit 2 Ghost Whisperer tops in the spring, late winter, early spring. Ghost Whisperer is a pattern by Park Williams of Park and Knit, and I am obsessed with my Ghost Whisperer tops. I actually wore one the other day. Definitely too warm for that, but I wore it and I survived. The first one I knit out of Grenouille Yarn Company, Suri Alpaca. The second one I knit out of one of my Ritual Dyes Tarot Club silk mohair skeins. This is, oh, that's where I was trying to go. Speaking of re-knitting patterns, this is Ghost Whisperer number 3. This is the Suri Alpaca base by Fiber for the People. Fiber for the People, hand dyed. No, this is Kid Mohair and Silk. My apologies. Kid Mohair and Silk, but it's so fluffy that it feels like a Suri Alpaca and silk. But this is 70% Kid Mohair, 30% silk. single ply, lace weight, 459 yards for 50 grams. And the colorway is Lamplighter. Look at these colors. Stunning. Stunning, stunning colorway. So I snatched up 2 skeins of this gorgeousness, and I swatched a couple of things. I originally thought that my Lento number 2 might be this held with like a navy yarn, so I swatched it up and I didn't like it, and then I swatched it up with a gray, didn't like it, and I realized at that point that this yarn is so gorgeous that I really wanted this yarn to shine, so I decided that I needed to knit it up by itself. And then, knowing how much I love my other Ghost Whisperers, I decided to do another Ghost Whisperer, but this one is going to have long sleeves. So in the original Ghost Whisperer, the pattern has a short puff sleeve. I'm going to knit long sleeves that will probably, because of the pattern and because of the size of, like, the depth of the armhole and the width of the sleeves, will probably be balloon sleeves, basically. But, oh, I'm dying. It's a little blown out. It's a little blown out when I hold it up, but if I hold it back here, that looks pretty true to the color, but it's just, and it's so soft. It really does feel more like Suri alpaca than a kidsilk mohair. So I'm super, super excited about this. It's taking me a while to knit up. To be fair, I don't have a lot of time for knitting right now because we're still in the beginning of the school year for early childhood. I think it really takes a while for preschoolers to get the hang of school. And actually October is one of the harder months because we're now getting to the point where everybody's comfortable in letting their true selves show in the classroom. So October can be challenging. I'm working with a new assistant. I do not have my co-teacher from last year, and I am exhausted. So there is a lot of Miss Wendy coming home from school, staring into the void for an hour, getting it together enough to eat a granola bar. Sometimes I can manage to throw together a girl dinner. But if I don't have my daughters on the days that my daughters are with their dad, I'm not cooking. I'll eat a granola bar or some popcorn and have a glass of wine and go to bed. So there's not been a lot of knitting time, unfortunately. Also, for some reason, these metal needles are slowing me down. The metal needles and the single, I'm just holding the single strand of mohair on the metal needles, on a needle length that is really too short. I mean, these should be, but I don't have an extra needle. It's slowing me down. It's like kind of fiddly, so when I'm working on it, I'm definitely like, it's taken me a minute. But this yarn is so gorgeous that so sorry if you can hear the beeping. We have a delivery truck outside. Okay. The yarn is so gorgeous that it's such a pleasure to knit up that I feel like It's taking me longer than my other Ghost Whisperers, but it's such a pleasure that I'm enjoying every second of it. So, Ghost Whisper number 3 for the fall. Super excited about that one. Okay. Acquisitions. Hi. Hi. There's Jupiter. What do you think? Juju looks a lot like Fig. And I'm a sucker for a tabby, so. All right, acquisitions. I'm just going to show you a couple things that I have. The first one I want to show you is this. This is the last colorway of the Ritual Dyes Tarot Club. This was the last month, September, my birthday month, and the colorway is Death, which is one of my favorite tarot cards. The Death card is not it's not a literal death. It's a symbolic death, a metaphorical death, maybe a metaphysical death. But I really love the card because I love the sense of transformation that comes with the Death card. And I had actually I woke up one morning, it was a Saturday, I was drinking my coffee, and I thought, I need to pull a tarot card. So I pulled a card. I was, asking, what do I need to know right now? And I got the Death card, which I was like, oh, that's great. My daughters were like, oh my God, what? So we talked about it. And then I think it was a couple days later that I got this skein in the mail. So this all feels very aligned, and it's pinks and purples and gray. It's like a smoky gray, smoky amethysty purple and pink, which normally are not really my colors. I don't go for pinks and purples, but I love this colorway. This will definitely be something special. I don't know what yet, but I did want to show you because it was the last colorway and it was my favorite tarot card, and it is gorgeous. Maybe a hat? Maybe a hat. I don't know. TBD. I also have this. I ordered a sweater's quantity of this Cascade Yarns Aegean Tweed. And this colorway was, it says color 10. It was olive, something olive, burnished olive, something like that, but it is a really pretty green. I'm a little hesitant about it because green makes me look like a corpse. It doesn't work that well with my skin tone. And it is not a super tweedy yarn. Like, you can see the little tweedy bits. Kind of gold, beige, tweedy bits that are not super prominent. So we like that. My plan for this, this was one of the recommended substitute yarns for Andrea Mowry's new Weekender Crew, which I do want to knit. This is one of my fall knitting goals, dreams, and desires, is to knit the Weekender Crew because I think the pattern is so gorgeous. I love it kind of has a swingy shape, which I love, but I cannot do a boat neck, and the original Weekender has a boat neck. I just feel like I'm getting choked. I feel like I'm being choked. Not in a good way. Also with my shoulders, I don't like a boat neck on me. I feel like it emphasizes how like wide my shoulders are. So the Weekender Crew was released a few weeks ago, and I'm super jazzed. I ordered this yarn because I wanted to knit a winter version, a fall winter version. The Dapple yarn from Brooklyn Tweed that she calls for looks gorgeous, but I did want something that I can wear when it's like really, really cold outside. So I went for the Aegean Tweed, which is 100% organic wool. But I don't, you guys know I love Cascade yarns, but I don't love this. This doesn't have the same like bounciness to the ply that my other Cascade yarns have had. So I knit up a swatch with the recommended needle size, and the swatch is too big and too loose. I'm gonna have to go down a needle size and swatch again, but I did not love the fabric that this yarn knit up into. But I have a sweater's quantity of it. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with that. I'm gonna re-knit the swatch, and I mean the color is pretty. It's a very pretty yarn. I just don't like how it feels, and I can't describe it. I was thinking about it. Oh, Juju's trying to be on my lap, honey. I was trying to think of how I would describe it, and it's like the yarn is not sproingy. It doesn't have the sproing of the other Cascade bases that I have worked with. It feels kind of flat, and it feels kind of felted, but it is soft, and it is pretty. So before I make any final decisions, let me swatch again and get a more appropriate gauge and see how I feel. But this may or may not be, this may or may not turn into a Weekender Crew. We shall see. Okay, now the last acquisition I will show you are my skeins of Pearl Soho Tussock, which is 60% super fine kid mohair, 40% silk, and this color, Lapis Lazuli, Lapis Lazuli, again with the electric blue. I used a skein of tussock for my Sophie shawl that I knit up last year, and I really like it. It's very similar to, oh God, it was the mohair I used in my original Lento. It's discontinued now. I have mashed potato brain. It's not gonna come. I'll put it down below, but it's very similar to that mohair that is discontinued. And I did have a plan for this, but I don't think it's gonna work out. I wanted to knit a diaphanous raglan by Jessie Made Designs. And I have this, I have this Madeline Tosh merino single ply fingering weight. And you can see that it has a little bit of electric blue in it, but overall it is not an electric blue yarn. It does have little hints of it in some places. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that on the camera. So I thought if I held this with this, but I think these are too different. I am having a hell of a time finding a kidsilk mohair to go with this yarn for about a half in a raglan. So, I don't know, but these are gorgeous anyway, and I'm happy to have them. And we'll see what happens to them. I mean, they're just electric blue. Electric blue is the moment. Okay. That's all for the knitting. I'm going to just give you a quick life update. Actually, it's just going to be a cat update. So, Figgy died. It was about 2 months later that we got our foster family. We had a beautiful calico mama and her 3 little babies. We had a black and brown tabby. We had a little white guy who has spots. He's mostly white. He has a few spots, tabby spots on his back. And then we had a little orange and white guy. Foster failed in a major way. I fell in love with the tabby, Jupiter. I knew from the beginning that I was going to keep her. And then my daughters fell in love with the little white guy who was the runt. He was the runt of the litter. We named him Nova. So Jupiter and Nova are with us forever. We still do have the orange and white guy whose name is Mango. Beautiful calico mama got adopted and went to her forever home, but not a single application has come in for Mango. And I don't know why, because he's gorgeous and amazing. So he's with us indefinitely, which means that we have 4 cats right now, which is too many cats. It's just, I mean, I think 3 cats is too many cats, but I remember when we adopted Figgy, he was just a wild guy. And I remember thinking, I will never adopt a single kitten ever again, because I think if there are 2 of them, they will just keep each other occupied and they won't get into so much trouble. And that's not how it works. It actually means even more trouble. So my apartment is currently mostly cat-proofed. The sunroom is not cat-proofed. You can see all the plants behind me, obviously, but most of the apartment is kitty-proofed. I do have to close them up if I go anywhere that I'm going to be gone for longer than half an hour. Like, I'll put them in the bedroom and they have to stay there because I need to keep the chaos contained. We're going to keep the chaos contained when I am not home. Otherwise, I come home to broken things. Somehow they managed to rip things up. I'm like, how are you ripping paper? I don't understand. Broken things, plants that get destroyed, glasses that get knocked down. One day I came home and the burner on my gas stove had been turned on. Not enough to like turn the burner on, but enough so that the natural gas was filling the apartment. So kitties get locked up, but I do feel like I'm living in chaos right now, especially when I have my girls. I have my girls with me half the week. They're with their dad half the week. When I have 2 11-year-olds and 4 cats in our little 2-bedroom apartment, it gets wild. But this is, I don't regret adopting them. We're very happy. If you have ever lost a cat, to FIP. I am so sorry. It was not a disease that I even knew existed. And there is treatment for it, but it costs thousands of dollars, and it's like not FDA approved, or whatever the veterinary equivalent of the FDA is. Maybe, I think it's just the FDA. It's not approved. So you can get it on the black market, but it costs like $4,000. And then you have to give injections every day for 82 days or 84 days or something like that, which was not mostly it was the financial part of it that was not an option for us. And he was very sick, and so we had to say goodbye. But I've done a little bit of research on FIP since then, and it's just a really terrible, terrible thing. So our life got turned upside down for a little bit there, but we are in a better place. We are in a better place. Fall is coming, which makes everybody happy. School year is chugging along. I'm not gonna talk about dating because I think that might be another, maybe I'll do some sort of knit and chat about dating because, whoa. If you are also a middle-aged woman trying to date men, I'm sure I don't even have to say anything about it, you know. So that's how that's going. I did see a lot of live music over the summer, which made me very, very happy. I saw Jenny Lewis. I saw Japanese Breakfast. I went to the Pitchfork Music Festival. What else? Last weekend, I did not go to Riot Fest because it was my birthday weekend and I had my daughters, so no Riot Fest, but I did go to, last weekend, the Death Cab for Cutie and the Postal Service played a separate anniversary show here in Chicago, and I did go to that, which was so fun and so nostalgic. So yeah, lots of music, lots of time with friends, lots of knitting, lots of cats. And that basically sums up my summer. So, okay, we're gonna wrap it up here. Go on, Juju. And thank you for joining me again. If you stayed until the very end, thanks for hanging in there. I'm going to put all my stuff away and potentially work on a fall knitting plans video because I love to watch those, and maybe you do too. So until then, be well, take care of yourself, and I will see you soon.